Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where you come for your rambling, geeky download. My name's Tommy, and I am delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host from across the pond. It's our resident recast co-host of the pod, DL.
That's offensive. That offends me.
Why have I been recast, goddammit?
Now, Tommy, prefaced this, don't be scared of, don't be offended, but what is, that's not offensive.
I actually said it wrong, so.
Are you talking about little Cass?
There's a little bit of recasting, a little controversy around some recasting.
Little Cassie? Is that who you're talking about?
Sprinkle.
Just a little bit of Cassie recasting?
Yeah, a little bit.
I gotta say, I like to do one more.
You were controversially recast while I was away. I decided to bring in a dingo, and they did a better job than you.
Oh, well, that's fair.
They're more talkative anyway.
Dog world out there.
They definitely tried to hunt my leg, which I appreciate. I quite like a bit more of that affection from you sometimes.
I don't think you're going to get it, mate.
How are you, mate?
The footsie plays enough. I am good.
My God, it's been so long.
It has been a while. Well, it hasn't been that long. It was only like a week and a half.
I feel like considering
it felt longer.
We tend to see each other like 2 or 3 times a week in general.
It felt longer.
It sucks.
The last time I left, it was like 3 weeks. This is like a week and a half.
No.
It was like just enough.
What?
It was just enough to like get used to the time zone and then have to change again.
Oh, fuck, that's
It's absolutely the worst amount of time.
You were back across the pond.
I was. Yeah, I was over in LA and Vegas.
Ooh, snap. Seen family?
The Vegas.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of family. Had a lot of family time. Didn't see any friends this time. Just saw mostly family. And
that's great.
Did 4 days in the Vegas. Felt like a fucking decrepit human at the end of it.
Wow.
Like you always
4
do.
days is a lot.
Well, it's more just like I didn't even party. There was one night where we went out pretty late, but like I didn't even party that much. It was mostly just like you're doing work all day.
Conferences?
Yeah, it was like our sales kickoff training and stuff. And you're doing work all day, and then like you go from work to like events that the company puts on from like, so you have like 5 to 6, right?
It's like great chat,
it's like
by the way.
7 to 9. Yeah, I'll cut it. Anyway, it was just not a lot of sleep because of hotel rooms and oxygen pumping casinos.
Oh man, I hate that.
Yeah, so you just can't sleep.
Although saying that, I've only been to Vegas once when I was 21, and the worst time of all time, I got tonsillitis the day I arrived.
Yeah.
So like I couldn't even enjoy myself.
Yeah, that sucks.
which really,
usually people
really
get tonsillitis like after day 5.
I know, right? Like I was only there for 3 days as well. I was devastated. I was like, I really want to have a damn good time here.
Anyway.
A lot's happened since you've been away, buddy. A lot has happened. Obviously, you were recast.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But you know this, but I got my permanent residency while you were away.
I know, you did.
I am officially
not in Australia.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah, you can stay, but you're not Australian, so I don't know what you are.
Oh man,
you're still an alien, but you're also a resident.
I've only got a year, and then I can get that damn passport. But like this is life changing.
It is.
Like as dumb as it sounds, and like listen, you don't have to listen to this. There'll be time codes. We'll talk about it in a minute. But like it is genuinely like I never realized I had this like weight like just like on me the whole the whole time. Like this anxiety, probably anxiety to be fair. And as soon as I got that email, I was like, yeah,
from MyGov.
What are you saying? No, it's from our immigration agent, and it was a bunch of like legal jargon, so I didn't really get it. I was like, what the fuck does this mean? So long story, it doesn't need to be told, but the company I work for are changing legally immigration agencies because the one we were with were absolutely
they're
dire.
All bad, I think.
Absolutely dire.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like a handover email, so I didn't even open it first. I just like carried on doing what I was doing, and then I clicked on it. And I was like, what's happening? And I was like, just emailed back like, hey, does this mean what I think it means? They were like, yep. And I was like, fucking yes. So life is good, my man.
That's good, man.
You've
been chasing that dream ever since you muffed it when you could have had
6 years. 6 years I've been waiting, which is too long.
Yeah, good job.
Look, guys, if you want to jump around, like I mentioned, there will be time codes in the description. Thanks, as always, to friend of the show and editing genius, Mr. Matthew Bliss of Blistery.fm. Thank you again for editing the episode. You can find him at info@blistery.fm or Blistery.fm. We'll give you all his details at the end of the show. He's a legend. Thank you, Mr. Matt Bliss. DL,
yo,
talk to me. What have you been up to?
Dude, today alone, I've been up to quite a bit of stuff. Other than
watching the film we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I watched the film that we were talking about today.
You really squeezed that in.
I did squeeze it in. But while I did that, I was like, I should say back in LA, I started playing Resident Evil 2 again in preparation because my brother was like the only game he had and I had like an afternoon off. And I was playing that and I was like, man, this is so good. It got me prepped and pumped for the 4th one, which is out. And I was passing by the GameStop. I was like, fuck it, I'll just
When's it out?
Just pre-order it. Why not?
When's it out?
It's like next week or something.
Oh, stop.
So I'm so like, I got too much video game stuff to go through. I haven't even played Harry Potter.
Well,
we bought it.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Dead Space is out, which is like another one. And then RE4, I got like too much to do.
There's
crazy.
There's a game that I've been waiting for ages called Wolong Fallen Dynasty.
I saw that.
That's out soon too, and that's going to be
out
more
now.
like immediate. I think it's out next week. I think it's mid-March. That's so I can't wait. That's going to be so good. But talk to me about RE. Like,
no, just more and more stuff's coming out, getting more and more excited. So much so that I'm playing the old ones.
Oh yeah, nice.
It's like that nostalgic, nostalgic things.
Dude, I'm getting such a strong urge to replay Elden Ring. So
don't do that.
I know. One of my buddies is texting me about it constantly. Like, so he's probably like 20, 25 hours in. And he's about 20% into story. He's probably nearly like 50 hours in. And he just keeps messaging me like his build. And I'm like, oh, I really want to play.
He's tweaking.
I know. He's really like pushing me to play it again. So you played a bit of Resident Evil 2 and you're psyched for the next one.
Yeah. I'm really psyched. And I'm actually like, it's funny. I'm like super good at Resident Evil 2 now because I've played it so many times. I can almost like speed run it.
Wait, is that the one they re-released recently?
Well, there was a third one which wasn't as good, but it's still really good. But no, this one's like, it's 2 or 3 years old or something.
Nice.
4 years old maybe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. And then beyond that, man, just working my ass off, planning weddings and things. So there's a lot of the in-between, but I've been keeping up with The Last of Us. Have you been watching?
I have. I really want to hold off talking about it because I want to do like a full episode.
All right, we won't talk about it.
I can tell you one thing that you recommended to me that I've done while you've been away.
Okay, I'd love to hear it.
You recommended to me, and I've been a big hater on Joe Rogan podcasts for a long time. Not like necessarily the podcasts because it's just long, but like more him. Like I find him a bit unbearable at times. But you recommended to me a podcast with Jimmy Corsetti, which is about the Younger Dryas stuff. And we've talked about it. We talked about that TV show that Graham Hancock did that was on Netflix. And oh my God, it's just so engrossing.
It is. It's like anyone that has like an imagination, it's quite fun.
It's so much fun. And like they get in such detail about it. And they're all clearly so passionate about this thing that's clearly covered up. But when you think about it logistically, the amount of times this could have happened. Like I saw a clip the other day that was like, you imagine, right, tomorrow an asteroid hits the Earth, 90% of the population gets wiped out. So let's imagine like we survive.
Australia survives.
Well, we'll survive.
Maybe not all. I don't know if you want to survive that.
Well,
that might not be a good thing.
That's another question. But like you think about it, right? Like 90% of the population gets wiped out. The first generation you have after that, it's a story. It's like, oh, we had all this great stuff. Like, I don't know an engineer who could rebuild an airplane. Do you? Or someone who could build an iPhone? So, like, the first generation after, like, that's a cool story. It's like, oh my God, like, that's so cool. Generation after is like, what's our kooky granddad talking about? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then that knowledge goes.
Yeah, it's true. Like one generation goes by and then
3 generations gone.
It's over.
Completely gone.
Like 125 years, that's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Think about what's happened in the last 125 years.
Precisely. Anyway. And we're pretty much due another one of these extinction events pretty soon. So like, hey, let's see how that goes. And I think I'm with you. I don't think I want to survive that.
No, did you see that Instagram I sent you where it was like an asteroid was like coming towards the Earth and it burned out? Like it was like a meteorite.
Like in the atmosphere?
Yeah, in like Western Europe. And like there's a bunch of cool videos of it. And it's like, man, so that's what that would look like if it was like triple the size.
Yeah, that's terrifying as hell.
That, but,
what else have you been up to, buddy?
I did finally finish The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, you finished that?
Finished strong.
Wowza. Wow.
Yeah, I think it finished strong. Did you finish it?
I haven't watched anymore. I haven't watched anymore. I'll tell you why. I've got a whole list of things I've been doing.
It finishes strong. I'm stoked for it.
All right.
I want this to continue.
Does it get better past the 3rd episode?
Yeah. No, it definitely does.
Because I got really stuck on that episode.
No, it definitely does. I mean, I think the 4th might also be slow, but it's better after that.
All right, okay. I'll get back there eventually. There's a lot been going on. So talk to me. Tell me a bit more about like what goes on in it.
I can't.
Non-spoilery.
I can't. No.
You can't tell me anything.
No.
I'm assuming they work out who the stranger is.
I think they do a really good job of like adequately foreshadowing everything. It was really well planted. It wasn't like, oh, we got you. You know, like when like there's a twist and it's not earned.
I hate that. We should do an episode on that.
Yeah,
movies with twists that aren't earned.
Yeah, it's a good topic. Or a YouTube video. The twists are earned and like the payoff is well done and it's very character driven for the 2 main characters.
Nice.
2 or 3 main characters, I should say.
Who turns out to be the main characters?
I would say the what's her name, the high elf chick.
Oh yeah, Galadriel.
Galadriel. And the guy that she's hanging out with, and Elrond.
Elrond, okay, all right.
Well, not Elrond. There's another guy, the Southern King.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah, maybe I see. I've already spoiled something.
I don't care. The
guy that she meets on the raft. I forget his name.
Oh, he gets off the raft as well?
Yeah,
sorry.
All I do is spoil things.
No. I got to the bit where, so like, she jumps out of the ship and she swims out and there's a dude. Yeah, I know what you mean. That's a Southern King. There you go. Who knew? So there's a good relationship between the two of them.
I mean, there's a good dynamic, good relationship. There's a lot of development. It's good.
Oh, nice, awesome. That's cool.
Adding to the story in areas where you're learning new things about the lore in a cool way. It's good.
It's so funny because we talked a couple of weeks ago about the group, whatever they're called, who bought a lot of the Rings rights, and they're just like, we're gonna milk the shit out of this. Yeah, we're gonna do so much.
But somebody else, like, they only own a part of it.
Yeah, because Amazon owns some of it as well. Yeah.
Well, there's like,
so I think
Amazon owns like one page of a book.
Yeah,
it's like that granular.
It's crazy.
They're making money.
Yeah, they're clearly making money. Yeah. Well, I wonder who owns that shit now. I did a cool thing yesterday. Tuesday. What day is it? I don't know what days are anymore. Time is linear. Time's not real. I went to the cinema, DL, and I went to see a movie that was in my most excited for of 2022, but came out in 2023.
Okay.
Called The Bear That Did Cocaine.
God, I forgot you sent me that picture. He sends me a picture of him alone at the theater. Were you
solo?
alone?
I was riding solo.
Yeah,
yeah.
because no one saw
My boy was supposed to come with me, but his baby wasn't well, so it's kind of fair.
And he couldn't justify seeing Cocaine Bear.
His baby wasn't well, so yeah, like. So I ended up seeing it solo, and like, honestly, I had a good time. I wasn't the only person there solo, funnily enough. So my cinema wasn't exactly full. Like, it probably had, I'd say, 35 people in there, and I'd say there was at least 4 or 5 solo people there, which I think's not terrible odds.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But I think I was going to say today there was 3.
There was 3 people in the You went at like 10 a.m. though.
There's 3 in the theater today. Yeah.
Solo peoples? All solo?
Yes.
Nice.
All male.
Oh, okay, all right. All doing podcasts. I bet they're all white.
They're all white.
All doing podcasts. Yeah, that's cool. That's normal.
Doing podcasts on the Avengers.
I'm not going to tell you if I liked it or not, because I think what I will do is I will direct people to our brand new website, which is up and running. And I'm excited to say that www.podcastassemble.com, it's now a thing. It's a real deal. So you can get lost in all of our content. We try and keep the YouTube stuff up to date there as well. The podcast's held there. And you can get all of our blog content. So there's a really cool one I talked about last week, which is getting ChatGPT to definitively tell me if Cobb is in a dream at the end of Inception or not. I've done a little bit of a breakdown on our website.
And it's a beauotal website.
It's
the UX is sleek.
Slick, brother.
It's lots of orange.
And black. And grey.
Orange is the new black.
I'm trying to rebrand it a bit. I just don't have time. But yeah, so look, if you're buying the ticket, see a movie called Cocaine Bear, don't expect to see an Otto movie is all I'm going to say to you.
Did you enjoy it?
I had a fucking great time.
Did you really?
I'm not saying it was a good movie.
Of course you're not.
I'm saying I had a good time.
You saw the movie. Any movie you see, 75% chance it's a bad movie.
What are you talking about?
Hey, how about this? Any movie you see alone,
high
80% chance that it's not going to be above 50 on Rotten
I really want to take edibles and go and see the movie, but I saw it like a random time, so it was never going to be.
So you can't just be high.
You can't just walk out like tripping balls.
Okay.
Come on, give me one more. Let's do one more each. What have you been up to?
I'm debating which one I talk about. What do I talk about? I saw Banshees of
You seen that?
Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh my god, that's so high.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah, it is.
And much harder to spell.
I'm guessing Inisherin is the place.
It's not what you think it is, this movie, but it's good.
It looks like a whole lot of stuff.
It's definitely not what you think it is.
Okay, all right.
But it's good.
So it's not The Lobster?
I never saw The Lobster.
Me neither, but I know it's weird as hell.
It's not that, because that's like almost like a, not sci-fi.
It's comedy, right?
It is dark comedy.
Yeah, I mean, that's that
But
director.
it's not as comedic. It's darker.
Oh, great.
Than it is comedy.
You know that's my jam.
Yeah, but it's not as comedic as in Bruges.
Okay. Doesn't need to be. Right. My favorite bit in Bruges is when they're in the restaurant and she starts smoking, and the table next to him starts having a go at them. And then the woman like swings a bottle at Colin Farrell and is like, a bottle!
A bottle?
It's so good.
A lady comes at you with the bottle. I'm a good man. A lady comes at you with a bottle. It's kind of even old day.
Terrible accent, but I love it. It's one of my favorite scenes that entire movie, and it's just nonsense. So you liked Banshees of...
Yeah, I did. I mean, I've been doing a lot of prepping, right? I watched In Bruges to prep for that. I'm playing RE2 to play RE4. Yeah, it's good.
You're
it's definitely
guy.
A good movie.
Are you prepped for this episode?
I am. I watched a whole YouTube video on the first hand to remember what the fuck happened.
I did rewatch the first one.
Spoilers, it involves ants.
I did rewatch the first one.
They
I didn't
saved the
rewatch
day.
the second one.
Oh no, spoilers.
Spoilers. All right, last one. And you mentioned a minute ago, I have been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Now, I know about the backlash of this, and I apologize for being that guy, but I am full enjoying it right now.
Why are you apologizing for enjoying a good piece of work that many people built?
Lots
and
of people put a lot of time and effort into
what are you
this
on
game,
about?
just because it's based on the story of this person who's clearly not a great person.
So, like, taking that out of it, so what? It's a good story.
I'm enjoying it. Look, actually, I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying being in that world. I think being immersed in it and just getting lost in the castle, so much fun. Like, just... I think it's a little bit samey and it's a little bit fetch questy. Like
I've heard the big complaint is there's not enough diversity in like enemies and things like it's a lot of the
enemies
same.
suck. Yeah, like you can,
which is kind of shocking given they have the world of Hogwarts to pull from. You know, there's so many things they could have turned, and you know what I mean.
I think you can do a lot with the spells you're given, like turning stuff into other stuff, whatever. But like you've got to be pretty like slick with it and whatnot. And I do the same 2 spells and I win in like 4 moves. It's like, all right, that's cool. That was easy.
You need to do more difficulty.
No, it's not the difficulty. I need to make it more difficult by trying other stuff to beat enemies. And I'm just like,
well, I've heard there's like 3 enemy types, which is kind of annoying.
At the minute, I've only got like 2 or 3. There's like spiders, there's people and goblins right now.
I think that's pretty much all there is.
Oh, great, perfect. So there's not even like
there's
not even like trolls,
blue goblins, red goblins. I'm sure there's
perfect.
a couple others, but
there's been some pretty cool things goblins can do. Like I've seen one that can like manifest a big old like thing around it and like attack you with an axe, but like that's about it. That's the hardest thing I fought in the whole game.
What does your character look like?
It's just a generic white dude.
Yeah,
I really couldn't be bothered. I was like, what hair do I like? And then I was like, this is too much choice. So I gave him a scar in his eye, and that was it. I was like, I can't be bothered.
Gail kind of looks like a Singaporean version of herself. It's just like she just missed like her race.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Everything else is right, but she like clicked left instead of right. No, so it's not what it's true. You can look at her character; she looks Asian.
Did you see that thing? It's like a meme that's been going around for ages, and it's like the South Park game, and like it's the difficulty level.
No,
it's so good. So like
I think I have seen this.
Yeah,
actually.
The difficulty. If you want easy mode, if you want easy mode, you're white. If you want difficult, it's black. It's like, oh my god,
that's just so them.
Anyway. Moving on, DL.
Yes.
Next segment of the show, we normally do a little bit about the news, and we talk a bit about things we've heard and stuff we've watched in our geeky sphere. We call it Have You Heard? And so much has happened since you left.
A lot that I don't know, so fill me in.
Let's start with one that I don't think you're going to know, but is a British comedy show. Have you ever heard of a TV show called Blackadder?
Like Black Adam's sister? No, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
No, it is not.
Well, why would I have ever watched this show? A British TV show named Black, like, is it popular?
You must have heard of things like Only Fools and Horses, surely.
Kind of. Somebody made a joke once that I know it.
So it's not even on your periphery.
I couldn't tell you what it's about.
Okay, all right. No, so Blackadder is this weird, it's so hard to describe. It's really intelligent comedy, but based in like time periods throughout British history. So there's one that's set like way back with the Victorians. There's one that's set like in World War One, and it goes through these different. It's the same. It's really weird. It's the same character. So you know the guy who plays Mr. Bean.
Yeah,
he's in it, and he's like the main guy. And there's all these like random like comedic characters around him. It's really interesting. They always play the same people, but just in different time frames. Really weird, really funny, really interesting.
Skitty.
No, it's like full. No, it's like full series. It's just like them being them, but in a different time period. It's really like it's hard to explain now. I'm thinking about it.
That is a British show.
Weird premise, but so like some serious comedians, like amazing talent in it. And it's going to return after 20 fucking years. This is from like the 80s, by the way. So like it's a long, long time ago. Sorry, I should have really prefaced with that. After 20 years of not being on the air, it's been confirmed that it's coming back. And I guess if you don't know what Blackadder is, like DL doesn't, then it's probably nonsense news. But from my perspective, I grew up with that. It's like I say, it's like the Only Fools and Horses, which probably
Can you explain that one too, just for all our non-British?
It's just a wheeler dealer. It's like this dude from London who's constantly trying to make a quid. Like, you know, he's always like trying to sell you the next thing, and it's him and his brother, and it's this cast of like idiot characters. Like the best joke in the whole. You may have seen the Batman and Robin running through London. Like, that's like a classic memeable thing from it.
Yes.
But like the best joke in the whole thing probably is one where they're talking to their idiot mate, like Trig, and they say to him like, "Trig, I thought you said this was open 24/7," and he goes, "Yeah, but not at night." It's like that kind of humor. It's beautiful. That is kind of funny. It's amazing. Other things that happened this week.
Yes.
Did you see, DL, the new Indiana Jones trailer?
I did not.
Oh, well, let's take a little.
I'm not sure there was much new in that, but
the Super Bowl trailer.
Yeah.
It was a bit
quick.
shorter.
Yeah.
Gave you a few little extra shots in there. Honestly, I don't want to know more. I'm happy. Like, it just felt to me like a love letter to the old Indiana Jones stuff.
No, I rewatched the first trailer as we watched because it was so short. It was added on, and it was good. Look, I'm still excited for it. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'm psyched. Like, I don't know why. I do know why, because I grew up with this fucking movie.
Yeah,
we were going to talk about it. We were going to talk about it the other day before you went away, and I rewatched the first one, and I forgot just how amazing that film is. Like, it is way up here in my estimations.
I forgot the first one. Which one's the first one?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
so that's the one.
I've definitely seen it. I just don't remember. They all blend together for me.
Yeah, they did a little bit, but like
because I saw them at a young age.
When you get to the end ones, when it gets to the end of the movie, you're like, that's what.
Yeah.
Do you remember Raiders of the Lost Ark when they're in the desert and he's got like the?
Are they raiding Egypt?
No. Is it Egypt? I can't remember. Yes, Cairo, I think. Yeah. And there's a bit where the dude, like, he's talking to Indiana Jones, who's up on a cliff, and there's like a fly on his chin, and it just like walks up his chin into his mouth and just disappears. Do you remember that?
Gross.
It's like totally messed up.
Gross.
Anyway, like, the thing I like about this is apparently they are gonna explain Shia LaBeouf's absence.
Of course.
Hopefully they killed him.
They have to explain.
He's in a meat grinder.
They can't just be like, forgot about that. Like, they have to.
The dude who's gonna take the series forward.
Do something. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, thank God he's not in it. That's the main thing. Like, imagine Shia LaBeouf just being in this movie.
I quite like Shia LaBeouf, but not in that movie.
Come on.
As an actor, he's good.
Ugh, all right. So, but thoughts on the trailer?
Like, he's not a good person. As an actor, he's good. He's got good movies.
Name 3.
What's that one with the Western with Tom Hardy?
Exactly.
Bootleg. The one with the honey pot.
You don't know the names of them?
Honey pot. It's called honey pot. Or something like that.
Cool.
And then that one
Transformers
with the
Transformers
with
2.
The car that turns into
Transformers
a
3
robot. Yeah,
Ghostbusters 2.
No, Fury.
What?
Fury. Tank movie.
I've seen that. That's
but he's a small role.
He's best when he's not the main character, I think.
I think every single one of those, he was like either
a side character,
supporting at best. Yeah.
He should win the best side actor and nothing else. I really like the looks of that. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
DL, this week, did you see bloody hell, this last few weeks,
last month,
did you see the new Flash trailer?
I did.
Now, I'm reticent to say this. This looks fucking good.
Looks all right. It's a good trailer.
I think it looks really good.
Looks good, but it's also like it's obviously not the movie they were originally making.
You reckon?
For sure.
How so?
Because this is obviously going to usher in like
completely
the DC like this. So there's been a bunch of changes. So it's like we'll see. Like, it's a good trailer. It's based off of a pretty good comic, I hear. Comic book run, so I'm sure it'll be good. And honestly, the guy, for all his problems, like, is kind of funny.
Yeah, Ezra Miller.
Well, they are
pretty. Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of problems, but like, it's cool, man. Got both Batmans in it, Affleck and Keaton.
Yeah, well, the fact that Ben Affleck came back, I just feel like he's going to be in it for like a very short period.
A minute, and then he's going to be like,
"Don't
do this,"
because I was down for him to be in it.
Like, exactly. But Keaton looks great. All the action
he does, but it's just kind of gimmicky. There's no way Keaton to me is doing the things.
He's an older dude.
He's too old.
I get it. I guess the justification is that there are Batmen from the future who have like tech built into their suits to like stop them falling to pieces.
Yeah, but he looks like my dad.
Yeah, he is old. Yeah, I know, he's like nearly 70, I think. He's an older dude. What do you think of that? Supergirl looks great. She looks awesome.
Yeah,
she's like a big part of that trailer. Yeah,
they're like in the jumpsuit and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like that's
got to be an addition because he's talked about girl from like James Gunn has talked about how one of the big storylines he's going to do is this like antithesis to Superman, who is like Supergirl or whatever.
I wonder if she's big because she does look really good in this, like as in genuinely really good. I wonder if she's going to be one of the things that carries over because there'll be things that carry over, surely.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah,
like that might be something that's been added.
We've got a great bit of correspondence about the DCU, by the way, coming up at the end of the show. I do think that though. I think it's no. She was always going to be in it, but I think she's going to be great. Like I'm more excited for this than Guardians right now. Guardians for me, I'm just like not.
I'm excited for Guardians.
I am, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm flaking
you were, like,
a little bit.
Always super excited about Guardians.
I know I'm flaking a little bit.
You're just you are like.
I think this just looks more
kind of like
fresh
moving
and
with
fun.
the wind.
Yeah, maybe.
You're like,
look, it's coming June 16th. So
trying to get on the DC bandwagon, which I already did.
We'll be talking. Yeah, you're already there.
I told you.
I'm trying to join you. Help me up.
Good.
Help
I'm
me
on
up.
a DC bandwagon.
Help me on that bandwagon, bro.
So we'll see if I am right by the end of this episode.
That's true. All right, final bit of news then. Actually, leading nicely into our main topic. It's being reported by multiple sources, including comicbook.com, that apparently Marvel hierarchy, so effectively old mate Kevin Feige, he's looking to scale back the number of properties they're releasing.
Good.
Starting with the Disney Plus stuff, which I think is a very fucking good idea. So it makes sense, right? We've seen a pretty significant drop in quality overall.
It not like overall, like everything, but like two things.
Yeah, that's overall.
I guess like that overall kind of almost implies like, oh, like on average, no, like it's like we're well below average.
Yeah. At the moment we are, yeah. So like it's good. I'm pretty happy that's going to be happening. Like, if it's true, obviously, like they're clearly making a ton of money off this. But like, do you not think, like we've talked about this? Do you not think, like, I don't know, like separation from things would make it so much more exciting when you get to see one? I think it's the separation.
I think if it was things like WandaVision and Loki, that's easy to do. But if you're, I guess, like part of me thinks it's okay for them to do a lot of stuff if you don't have to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if there's certain things where you got to do your homework, great. They've kind of gone too far. With like trying to introduce new characters, like let things be there on their own for a while.
Yeah,
you know 100%. What I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and introducing new characters who are probably going to be like part of the Avengers lineups moving forward in like a Disney Plus show, like She-Hulk, for example. Like, I don't know that many people who watch She-Hulk. She just rocks up in the next Avengers. Yeah. You did? All right, okay. Yeah. She rocks up in the next Avengers. You're like, all right, who's this? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's my point. You kind of have to have. Not everything needs to be a part of the MCU in that way. And maybe there'll be moments where it makes sense to introduce them naturally, but it doesn't feel natural anymore.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, that's completely. The thing they've lost.
Yeah, completely.
It doesn't feel natural.
I think we'll talk about that when we talk about this movie in a minute, because there's a few bits, like, we will get to it, but there's a few bits in this that sort of lead to that. And I think that's a great, absolutely fantastic segue, DL. Do you want to preface our main topic this week?
Our main topic? I don't even know the name. Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Yeah, we watched that late.
We've been hounded for this, by the way. We've had so many
lot of
friends
people
of the show
have been hounding us.
asking.
I get it.
We appreciate
Tommy
it.
didn't wait for me either, so I had to go watch it alone. Not a good friend.
You wanted me to wait 2 weeks.
100%.
Even your boy Dick Staines went, like, before I did. He went on opening night.
I know.
He refused to wait for you.
He even said, like, should we do it in Vegas? And by the time I responded, he'd already bought tickets to see it that week.
Well, that's your own fault for being so slow.
Anyway.
Before we get in, we're going to do spoilers, non-spoilers and spoilers. I said it the wrong way around. DL, do you want to give me a stupid plot summary before we start?
Why not? Paul Rudd, or Alice in Wonderland, tumbles through family strife all the way down into the quantum realm, more formally known as the love child of a Tron, Star Wars, and Osmosis Jones menage a trois that even Jonathan Majors can't bring back to reality.
Wow. That's dark. But true, the whole Alice in Wonderland thing, blam, I like that.
Yeah.
Blam, that's what new catchphrase, apparently.
What about the Tron, Star Wars, Osmosis Jones menage a trois?
I like that. No, I did. I like
it. It is the design.
Where's the Tron part?
All the lights. It's all purpley and blue.
There are lights? There's lights in
the
this goddamn
Quantumania
movie.
is all like, these crazy neon lights.
We'll get to it. All right. So,
do you not agree?
Yeah, some. I'm not sure about Tron
blue,
specifically. I think
there's
Tron's,
red. There's lots of bold
there are
lights.
lights in this, but I would, and we're going to talk about this, align it more to like the stuff we saw in the Guardians movie. Like I think it's more just like the same as that.
It is kind of the same.
All right. So my plot summary is same shit, new phase.
Okay. I mean, honestly, like,
well, the other way around. New phase, same shit.
Yeah, fair enough. I look. What do you think of it?
We'll get into it in a minute. Like before we do though, do you want to guess for me the IMDb score?
Oh god, I always forgot. I forget our own bits.
We've got a bunch to go to before we get there.
6.7.
It's 6.5. Not bad. Pretty close. Yeah. Do you want to guess for me the Rotten Tomatoes score?
65.
48.
It's not that bad.
What about the Metacritic score?
It's not that bad.
I don't think so either. No, I agree.
I mean, if Rotten Tomatoes is 48, it's gonna be like 42.
It's 48 as well, which is interesting. Oh, it was at the time.
Those never align.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Weird.
It's so odd. And this is currently tied as the worst rated Rotten Tomatoes MCU movie with Eternals, which is nuts. It's not that bad.
It's not fair.
This is obviously director Peyton Reed coming back for his third go at an Ant-Man movie. Apparently, he did the Yes Man. Do you know that movie with with old mate Jim Carrey?
Betting is royal blue.
Yeah.
What is it?
He's back, baby. Peyton Reed's back. And we've got the whole cast back and a few cool new additions. So we've obviously got Paul Rudd, we've got Evangeline Lilly as Hope Van Dyne, got Michael Douglas as Hank Pym, we've got Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Van Dyne, Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror, among others.
Yes,
we have
other
Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Bill Murray's in this goddamn movie.
Bill Murray is.
We've got a couple of other people who are pretty well known from other TV shows, and we have one of the favorites of the show.
Yes,
David Dasmalchian, and not in the role he was in the last two goddamn movies.
What was he?
So he was Veb. So do you remember when in the movie?
Oh yeah, we just talked.
Getting ahead of ourselves. You had to drink like from an alien.
That was pretty funny.
That was him. Really weird. The thing about the holes.
Yeah.
I am bringing back, by the way, DL.
Yeah.
One of our randomly occurring favorite segments. Now, the last time we talked about Goofy IMDb picture, we retired one of our favorites.
Caveman Joe, whatever his name is.
Caveman Joe. Let's call him that. Casimir Dinovitz Jr. He was retired. So we've got 2 new ones this week, and it was actually quite tough in this to find a challenger. So I'm going to go with the challenger first.
Okay.
Because I've got one that I'm like 100% sure you're going to choose as the goofiest IMDb picture. So this is Mark Oliver Everett, who plays Jogger with Dog. Can you explain that picture?
Is he vaping?
I can't tell. I think he's singing, maybe?
He's singing into what looks like a
vape?
Very old mic, maybe a vape with aviators, and it's kind of a grainy photo.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's not that bad.
For an IMDb picture.
We have a semi-reoccurring segment where we look at IMDb.
When I remember.
And we look for people whose headshots on IMDb really don't add up for the movie they're in. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, or they're just like nonsensical. Like, why would you have this as your IMDb picture? The thing that everyone will see you from.
Yeah,
and this is a dude who, he looks like he's starring in like an early 2000s rap video. Not as if he's one of the guys
in the Beastie Boys
from Jackass in a rap video. That's what he looks like. Now, I've got another one, DL. And this is, like I said, we've now retired 2. So 2 in the Hall of Fame.
That Roy and
we've got Ray Bucktenica, who will always be my champion, and Mark Casimir Dinovitz Jr. Now this guy, I'm pretty loving this one. This is Roger Craig Smith, who is Quantumania voice. Now, can you please explain this to our listeners?
He is. I got him up.
This is a delight.
He is Sonic the
Captain Batman wrestler,
like
Shrek, maybe
cowboy. Batman.
So explain the picture.
He's just sitting. He looks rather depressed. He's just sitting on a wooden block, dressed as what I think looks like a Spanish rancher, or maybe dancer,
or Shrek.
Or medieval Shrek outfit. Hard to tell. With the Sonic the Hedgehog hat on, holding the Batman mask, with the Iron Man or Captain America shield behind him. Yeah,
so random.
I think he needs to pick a vibe.
Yeah, pick something, bro. Like, you can't be all of these things at once. So which one is the goofiest of the IMDb?
I mean, he's obviously a really, really big fan of this stuff, and that's probably how he got in.
Probably, but is there any need to?
I think I gotta pick. Like, actually, I think I pick the other guy because this is a headshot.
It's not a headshot.
Look, think about it. Look at what he's known for. He's in a bunch of video games. He's obviously a voice actor for video games. He's in a bunch of like Marvel stuff as just like a standalone like audience member. This is him.
You're going for Roger Craig Smith.
This is him.
Sorry, you're going for Mark Oliver Everett.
Yeah, I'm going for Mark Oliver Everett. Do you veto me?
Wow.
You can veto.
It's your choice, man. I'm just shocked.
Anyway.
By the randomness of that image. Look, we'll put it on our Instagram at some point, and you guys can let us know what you think. So, DL, talk to me then. What happens in this movie?
Should we go through the plot?
Let's go through the plot.
Ant-Man is living, how do we say, his golden years post-midlife crisis of the first 2 Ant-Mans. He's on that memoir royalty check, dollar bill, whereby his biggest challenge is probably his woke daughter, who really will get over it once she sees the tax line item on her first paycheck post-college.
Probably.
Like, it's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
He's not in struggle street. And as previously mentioned, his daughter can't stop fiddling around with the quantum realm. Pym can't stop experimenting with those damn ants and throwing them into the quantum hole. And really, he's just trying to find small stuff with them ants.
He's just trying to do ant stuff.
Pym is a weird guy.
He's a bit creepy with ants, isn't he?
I mean, if a guy could ever be called out for undercompensating, it would have to be Hank Pym. I mean, he is that man. Dude must be hung like a horse. For real. He can't stop fiddling, and so they end up getting sucked in, right?
I'm glad you finished with in.
What's that? I'm getting sucked in.
After talking about my horse.
The quantum realm. Him, Janet, Hope, Scott, Cassie, Pym.
All stuff that's in the trailers.
What a group of names, by the way.
Yeah,
Sounds
great.
like some kind of cocktail.
Fabulous.
Because she's got...
Shake that all up and you get an Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, and they get there, and what they find is that Janet's got some bills to pay.
She got some history.
She's got some bills to pay. They've got the receipts.
She's hiding a big secret.
Eccentric Futurama colonial Bill Murray has the receipts. Yeah. You know, he's got a debt he's owed, and he's cashing them checks. And that's news to the fan bam.
So talk to me then.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go. Talk to me. What do you think of this movie?
I mean, I actually didn't mind it that much.
I had a lot of fun with it.
I liked it. I heard a lot of shit about it coming into it, and maybe that like lowered my expectations, but I didn't think it was that bad until the end, like always. But you know.
Yeah. You just hit the right word, expectations. I think people come into these movies with these wild expectations, and I'm like, just go in and expect a movie. Like, stop thinking it's going to change the world.
Well, do you think that the MCU moves more slowly now?
No, I think the opposite. I think that's the problem. So I think the problem is, and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. My problem is that there's this issue with narrative de-escalation, right? So the way it works, especially in comics or like any book series, right? You build and build and build. You build to the climax of the thing. Then you have to drop right down and slow things down before you start building again.
Chessboard.
Marvel have never actually stopped. They've never wiped the chessboard. So everything after Endgame, maybe with the exception of one of the Spider-Man movies, everything has been world and universe ending, and it's gonna destroy the multiverse. And even the TV fucking shows. It's like, take a breath. Like, if everything is making my heart go like this, it's like, how am I supposed to know when it's supposed to go like that? Do you know what I mean? It's just the whole thing.
I kind of get it. I guess my point being, like, I just kind of feel you're right.
They're failing at narrative de-escalation.
I agree with that sentiment, but I also think like maybe it's a result of that. But it's kind of like, because everything's the universe all the time. I feel like I've seen this story 3 times.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, nothing's actually happened. We knew how this ends was going to happen. Like, there was no new information gained.
All right. Yeah.
Kind of.
I'm kind of with you on that.
You know, like,
I'm kind of with you on that.
That's so before we go spoilers.
I am. And I think, so I think they missed a trick in not telling like a smaller story. Like, I think if they like do what the Ant-Man movies did in the last couple, like, chuck him in the quantum realm, but it's like, it's nothing. Like, it doesn't change anything. And then maybe
like
the end
build some lore around the quantum realm.
Yeah, 100%.
Instead of it just being like this odd cast of kind of humans, kind of weird and tribal people that all band together.
Let's talk about that when we get to the world building bit. It's a bit nonsensical, but I'm completely with you, and I just think they need to reset our expectations at some point, because at the minute I'm getting into every movie thinking the universe is going to end.
I think
all the universe is going to end.
I think they will with X-Men once they introduce the X-Men.
I think they will. I just think it needs to happen sooner rather than later. Well, they can't really now. They're building. They're already building towards those goddamn Avengers movies. So the first thing I said when I walked out of this movie, and I went with friend of the show Joe, literally the first thing I said was, I am really missing grounded MCU movies like The Winter Soldier, stuff like that, where it's a bit of hand-to-hand combat. I'm not fighting in a big a tech suit where I can torture you from 2 miles away.
Or Spider-Man.
Yeah, something smaller.
Spider-Man, like, while it had the multiverse thing, it was smaller in scale. You know.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I miss it being a personal story. I can't, like, the stakes I've written here, they're small but they're huge. Haha, very funny, like Andor. But like, I don't know what the stakes mean when you're in the quantum realm, and what does that mean? What, like, Kang's really powerful, but all right, how does that affect me? Like, if I see that this dude is a jacked up jock, like the Winter Soldier was, and he could just tear your windpipe out, I'm like, oh fuck, I get that.
I don't know. I think like having a more of an origin story for Kang would have been an interesting way to
more information on
use this. Yeah.
But
I think that's because I kind of think that's what we're missing. We're missing origin stories.
A little bit. Yeah.
We have no origin stories in this.
A little bit.
I know you don't like your origin stories.
No, I do.
But like, we haven't had one. It feels like the Fantastic Four should have come out before some of these movies.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? To like slow it down, new characters, new thing.
Build a whole new
they're just only showing us movies with people that are very involved in what's happened before, and therefore it's hard to de-escalate because like they're so tied to that part of the
and all of the origin stories we're getting at the moment, other than maybe Shang-Chi, have all been in the Disney Plus series.
I'm kind of wondering, like, is there a reason they're saving like the Jon Snow origin story, that like, you know, all the Blade, like
Jon Snow? Oh, sorry,
you know what I mean? Like all these other ones that are supposed to come, it kind of feels like those should have come first.
Yeah, weird, right?
It's like they're now they've pushed them all back, and I think it's because I think the writers are fucking up.
Well, I don't know if it's the right. I think it's the time pressure that's been put on them, right? So they're effectively been given a very short time frame to write, create, put together the storyboard, etc. for a movie that they know where they want it to go.
But
so there's
Kevin
no
Feige
creative
has, like,
process.
Veto rules, like, guys, let's slow it down. Like,
I don't know.
surely.
Well, I that's what I was saying before we started talking about this. I think they genuinely need to do that. But what did you think about the stakes that we set up in this?
I did enjoy like tying it back to his family. Like
yeah.
As much as we say it's not like big, it's all big in the world and you know all that. This was kind of a good arc end to his story with his daughter. Like he, you know, was forced to basically choose, and it was very clear what he was going to choose.
Hold that thought. Yeah. Hold that thought. We'll come back to that. To talk to them a little bit about performances. So the first thing I wrote here was that I wasn't hugely compelled by anyone in this.
Really?
But I liked everyone. Does that make sense? Like nothing was like overly like thrilling to me, but I was like, I still love Paul Rudd. Everyone's fun.
I agree with that. I think Kang I really liked though.
Kang is all I was going to say. He's my next point. Yeah. Jonathan Majors, amazing.
I really liked him.
He's got this weird quality of acting. Like at all times, he looks like he's about to burst into tears. Like in any shot. Like, when it comes close to his face, he just has, like, really watery eyes or something. I'm like, is he going to fucking cry? And then he'll be angry, and I'm like, oh, no, that's not the right emotion.
He's emotive, yeah.
He does have, like, a really emotive face.
He's really good.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, man. I kind of felt like Michael Douglas was just along for the ride.
Totally.
What a toss in, dude. He just, like, did not... He was just
God.
Like, give me my paycheck.
He was like, I can hear the ants.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, what are you really doing here?
Well, I mean, like, they didn't really write him all that well either, but, like, it just kind of felt like he was there for a paycheck.
I kind of liked him as like a senile old man almost. He was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'll help her contact people in the quantum realm. Almost like, and that's a thing that we're going to talk about at the end. Like a few of the main characters who were sort of just around, but one of the main characters who sort of wasn't as involved as a lot of people expected. A movie being called Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes,
was Evangeline Lilly's Hope Van Dyne, who has a great Karen haircut.
She does.
She was kind of just pushed to the side in this.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple scenes with like the mom and the dad thing that were kind of funny.
Yeah, but I mean, she wasn't she didn't really have a big action scene or anything.
For the movie to be called Ant-Man and the Wasp, she was very, very, marginalized.
I did have a way around this for them if they really wanted. I overthought this clearly, but like if they really wanted to go there, you could say that actually Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet Van Dyne, so the mom, was the original Wasp, and she had a much bigger role in this movie. So perhaps it's maybe just flicking like, between who the main focus
Return
is.
of the Jedi kind of style thing. Yeah, okay.
So I actually kind of like that idea, but that's not how this was pitched.
I mean, maybe that could be the case.
It could easily be the case, and I actually quite like that. Let's talk about that controversy then. We joked about it before, but like, so the controversy is, and I mean, like, say it's controversy. So Cassie Van Dyne, that's not right, is it? It's Scott Lang's daughter, Cassie Lang. She was recast, right? So she was originally played by Emma Thurman in Endgame, and apparently she found out she'd been the role had been recast through social media.
Why is that? Why is that controversial? Just because she just like they could have told her kind of thing.
Could have given her the heads up, man.
Does she have a contract?
Well, apparently not. Yeah. So my assumption is they wanted a more recognizable face to like younger audiences.
Someone older.
Just someone who's got more standing in Hollywood.
Well, how old was she?
They're pretty much the same age.
Really?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. So just like, hey, let's recast this person. You clearly don't quite fit the bill. Like I thought she was really the Cassie character was very good in this.
I thought she was good too. So that's why I'm kind of not empathizing. I'm like, you got outgunned.
She
did.
I mean, it's just a bit harsh. Like, imagine like you get fired and you find out through Twitter.
I feel so bad for
that.
This
would be
movie
brutal.
Star.
Yeah. Oh, I reckon she's not that famous.
Whatever.
So probably this was her big break.
Nah, dude, royalties on that.
On Endgame.
On any of the ones she was in.
Just Endgame.
She was in other ones, surely.
No. This Emma Thurman was only in Endgame.
Well, that's the best one to be in.
Yeah, to be fair,
royalties.
the second highest grossing movie of all time. Yeah. To be fair, you're right. Talk about pacing then. What do you reckon? Like, what did you think? Like, going through this movie.
I actually thought it was pretty good.
I didn't think it was terrible.
Until the end, and even then, it wasn't like, you know how there's always the climactic fight at the end? Like, it wasn't the worst of those.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either. I thought, like...
They kept the fights interesting enough with, like, the perception stuff. And
yeah. It just moved at a clip to me. Like, I think a lot of people saying, like, oh, this is such a long movie. I'm like, it's good. Like, I like it.
I did miss the first 20
Yeah,
minutes.
well, 20. That's going up every
15,
time you say
well,
it.
whenever they landed in the quantum realm, I think it was 15, 20 minutes.
I guess the problem I kind of had with it was, like, the yada yada overing certain parts. Like,
for sure.
So, like, a lot of things.
So many yada yadas.
Yeah, like the ants, for example, we're going to talk about them in spoilers, but, like, they come back at the end of the movie. Dre was joking about, like, Michael Douglas's ants obsession in this. They come back at the end of the movie, and it's like, what? Like, this doesn't, like, why are you yada in this?
Time
like,
works millions of ways so
it's
that
so
ants
strange.
develop into... I mean, like, the concept, fair enough, but, like, it just did not get its time to shine.
Completely.
Like, because ants are, if you actually dig into it, and I'm going full Pim here.
Please.
Pretty sophisticated, interesting, like, evolution, like, is involved in what they do. It's all scents and pheromones. It drives their whole... So, like, you could have developed that more than, like, 30 seconds it got.
Completely. And, like, the whole, like, it's like Ant Ex Machina. And we're not going to talk about this for probably it's a spoiler. It was. And it's like, you heard, like, 3 things and they were there. Look, I don't want to spoil this for anyone, because if you haven't seen it. The other thing I was going to say was, like, and this isn't really fit into pacing. It's kind of just from anywhere, really. Maybe world building. We're getting into world building anyway. Yeah. I felt like, you know, when they, like, Ant-Man and Cassie, they meet, like, the group of rebels that we'll talk about. They meet the rebels, and they're sort of like, everyone's like, what are you? You've got holes, and what do you do? I'm like, there's a guy who looks like a human right next to you. Like, what? Why is this weird?
Yeah,
like, they're the exact same.
That's just the kid. That's just the
it's
kid
just
humor.
a nonsensy thing, you know? Like, it just need to be there.
But did you like that guy with the... I thought they should have used him more. The guy who can read minds.
Yeah, Quaz. He's in a bunch
involved.
of stuff. I think he's in the not the nice place. What's it called? The good place. Is it the good place?
I don't know.
Where she accidentally goes to heaven and she should have gone to hell.
Yeah.
He's in that, and he's really good.
That.
Yeah, what's his name?
But I just mean that character.
William Jackson Harper, yeah.
Could have been a funny... You could have used that for comedic effect more.
You need for way more stuff. He's great.
What about MODOK? What do you think of MODOK?
Do you want to wait for action? So, yeah, he's part of world building. We're talking about world building, so you're talking now. It was weird. Like... I get it, but MODOK's a weird character. I'm like, yeah, all right.
There's only one way to introduce him, weirdly.
How else are you going to...
Yeah. I just find it hard to believe that Kang, the Conqueror, would create something like that.
Well, I guess
it seems kind of gimmicky for him.
Yeah. I mean,
unless it was cruel.
Appendages.
Yeah, unless it was really cruel.
I thought it looked good when he had the mask on. Just leave the mask on. Like, he didn't need to take the mask off and show...
Well, the face didn't even look like him.
Well, that's the point. It's supposed to be stretched and weird.
But
like Darren Cross, the guy the bad guy from the first one comes back. I mean, it's in all the trailers. People know by now. I didn't like. I thought the CGI was a bit shitty on that. But like, how do you make that look good? It's just a stretched face. Like, I don't feel like there's a way to do that.
The CGI overall, though, what do you think about it?
Mixed.
Yeah,
mixed. I thought there were times where I was like, oh, there's like some genuinely pretty good stuff.
I thought it was mostly good.
The bits that looked like they actually had some sets involved, so like the bar scene you mentioned before, where it's basically Star Wars, like where there's clearly bits that, you know, are physical objects in there. I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. But then when you get some of the like compositing where Bill Murray is clearly just on a blue screen
being eaten by his food,
really bad.
I really liked that. Yeah, that wasn't that great. I really liked like that middle battle sequence, where like Kane is like trying to find them. And you're learning that the buildings move. It's like when he's right after he drinks the juice.
That's a really good joke. That was my favorite joke in the whole film.
Your
whole buildings are dead.
Yeah, I actually really liked that whole design. Like, it was kind of goofy. They looked like big doughboys.
I like that
with guns. Yeah. Like it was.
It kind of reminded me of the thing from SpongeBob SquarePants. What's the pink guy called? I forgot his name. You know who I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
People
about.
Are screaming at me, but it's fine. Come
Patrick?
On. Yes.
I actually really overall liked the art design of this, even though it was kind of poor man's Guardians.
Yeah,
now that you said it, I agree.
Yeah.
But I still kind of did like it. I don't know. I vibed with it. I thought the CGI wasn't bad, and overall, I did like it.
I just thought it just wasn't different in any way. Like when they talked about the quantum realm in the other films, it was this weird, totally obscure place where nothing makes sense and everything's upside. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just like, well, that's fine, but like, why are there humans?
Why is anything humanoid in there?
Yeah, like, why are there humans?
Like, when they're doing the whole bit about, oh, what are you? Like, well, make them look different so they're not like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. It was a joke, but it's real. But like, that's what I'm saying. And as well, like, when I was watching the Quantum Realm, we're full in like cinematography world building here. When I was watching the Quantum Realm, it didn't feel that big or exciting. Was that just me?
It's small.
But like, it's small but massive when you're in there, right? It's supposed to be a universe. It
should
felt
have
like
gone full as Moses Jones.
Totally.
Like bacteria and
totally.
shit. Yeah.
Totally. That's what it should have been.
Yeah.
Just weird shit.
Which is how they started.
Yeah, but I mean, the first film looked exactly like that. That's what it should have been. It would have been amazing. It just felt like a big city to me. Some of the costumes weren't great. I'm not going to lie. Like, then everything in superhero movies now is that nanotech where it just, like, appears. And, like, where did they come from? You know when they went into the Quantum Realm?
Nanos.
None of them were wearing their outfits. And then by halfway through the film, they all had their outfits on.
Yeah, they just touch it.
It's nanotech. Not everything can be nanotech, though. It's like, stop it. Stop it with the nanotech. I just want like...
But you just want an extra scene where they put on shoes and socks?
I just want the helmet to like pop up like the original film. Like, that sucks.
Like, what are you asking
I put my shoes on the same way everyone else does. Yeah. All right, what did you think then of the action in this?
I actually said... I mean, the CGI I already talked about. The action, I actually liked most of the fights. Felt choreographed and like real.
Yeah.
Not like Thor flying around on a hammer hitting. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like they actually felt kind of raw and normal. Like I think about the fight in the middle where whatever that native.
Do you want to explain the rebellion part?
Yeah. So Kane's obviously been. We didn't even talk about that at all. We should probably. So
let's talk about what actually happens.
What actually happens in the movie? So we find out that the backstory is it Jennifer? The older Janet, the older Wasp.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
She helps out a Kang who she thinks is helpful and nice. Ends up being a bad guy who then, because he's trapped in the quantum realm, decides to conquer it.
Yes,
because that's what his namesake.
Well, I mean, like it's in the trailers. He's taken over the place.
So
right?
he's taken over, and there's pockets of little communities. Some of which are little kind of flubbers. Some of which are humans that are rebelling against this.
You always create your worst enemy as an oppressor.
And
I think
anyway,
he's trying to do that story, but not very well.
Yeah. And one of the fights in the middle, where I'm getting to is the action was really good. I liked the lady with the spear. She was going crazy.
She was great.
She was cool.
I can't remember. Did I write her name down? I can't remember.
Yeah, I liked the fight at the end with him and Ant-Man.
K.E.M. O'Brien as Gentora. I thought she was great. She had sort of like you mentioned, a like Native American kind of vibe to her. She was jacked. Absolutely massive. I really liked her as well. I thought she was like the right level of like suspicious, but also like willing to do anything to help her people. That was quite a fun story. That little rebellion story. I don't think they gave it anywhere near enough time.
It needed more time,
or like growth. Like there was no evolution of it,
or just like anything. Characterization, culture. Why are these band of googly eyes and
why are they all together? It didn't make
how do they get there?
You can kind of guess, but it's like at the same time, like maybe just give me like a sentence.
There was a lot of missed opportunities there. Like seed other things in the world, like what I mean, like clearly, other people. If Kang got exiled there, many people could have.
Don't say that. Come on.
If people get stuck in the quantum realm,
exactly.
Like
Ant-Man
so easily,
Many people could have been. Seems had a lot in these movies.
People could have gotten.
Seems having a lot in these. Yeah. I agree. I completely agree. I thought the action when it was smaller scale was way better, right? Like especially with the characters we just talked about. I think there's more hand to handy type stuff.
Yep.
Like it's not all big blue lasers and shooting everyone. There's a bit of like spear action. I thought it was good. Like I quite enjoyed it. There was one thing that took me out of it a little bit, and I have to say this. Look, Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer, they're old. I hate to say it. But like when they're like getting thrown out of like spaceships or getting knocked over and stuff, I'm like, dude's gonna break his hip.
Break a hip, yeah.
Like, come on, like I'm not trying to be rude here, but like
that's the suit, the Pym suit.
That's fair. They do have the Pym suit. I quite like the design of some of the outfits. Like they were very Doony.
Yeah, they were,
and they were like flying on the whale and stuff.
There was you mean the bacteria?
Yeah, whatever it was.
The manta ray,
big whale. Yeah, too many manta rays movies I've seen recently. Fucking Avatar, this. I'm sick of big whales.
There is a lot of whales going around.
Yeah.
Even if you're not watching Planet Earth.
Yeah.
Tones and themes.
Tones and themes before we get into a bit of spoilers. Yeah. Go ahead.
Self-sacrifice.
Self-fatherly love. All that nonsense.
Greater good. In a bad way. Like in the Nazi way, kind of. No, but seriously, he's just...
I mean, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that sort of oppression and... uprising and stuff that we've done a million times. So what are your 3 best and 3 worst, DL? Now, for anyone who doesn't know, we tend to do this in non-spoilers, so it's like an idea of, hey, here's 3 reasons you might want to see this movie, and here's 3 reasons you might not.
I would say, for me, and this is going to be controversial, I did kind of like the art direction.
Okay.
Didn't bug me.
Interesting.
Kind of dug it. Loved
Different.
The CGI was pretty cool. The lights, the Tron, the Osmosis drones all together.
The Tron.
That's my first.
Yeah.
My second would be Kane. Just Jonathan Majors as his, what a name, by the way.
Great name. It seems like a stage name.
I was gonna say it's probably not real.
I mean,
it's probably a pet name.
You keep talking. I'm gonna Google it. What's your last one?
So his performance in general is just, he's a good actor. Combat, I enjoyed. So we've kind of talked about most of them. And I'll give myself a fourth. I did enjoy the fact that they did tie this to the theme of Ant-Man 1 and 2, which was really tied to his family, his daughter. They grounded it in the work they'd already done, which, it could be hard to do that in a movie like this.
Jonathan Michael Majors. Real name.
What a stud.
Solid name. Yeah. John Major. Bad British politician. If you've ever seen The Crown. My first three are, I think Paul Rudd's still a delight. He's great. Like, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yada Paul Rudd. He's really funny.
You're almost used to him at this point. You know what I mean? Like, and that's not. I feel like I need to bring that back and say, like, yeah, he is great in this.
That's fair.
I also said Jonathan Majors. He's got massive potential in this. I just hope they get him right. I really hope they get him right. Ant-Man's motivations. I think that's what you were talking to a little bit there. Yeah. Like, I think it's obviously tied back to his story from the very beginning. And it's sort of like, it is his through line.
It's reasonable.
It's completely, it's expected at this point. I'm like, yeah, it's good. I liked it. Worst?
The cheese.
Oh my God, the cheese.
Some of this stuff is just full cheese.
Yep.
I'll talk
Smelly
about it.
Cheese
I'll talk about it in a bit
Smelly
in my
cheese.
correspondence, because I had a couple people write about this cheese, this stinky French cheese. I would say these quantum people, I mean, like, you just yada over like why they exist, how, like, they could have done better.
Yeah, give me more on that. I want to know.
They could have done much better.
Why are you there, guys? What are you doing there?
If you think about like how these people got there, the potential for telling more stories that lead into the the universe, the extended universe.
How much more could you do down there? Yeah, it's a whole new universe.
They kind of wasted that
nonsense. Yep.
And then I was just gonna say MODOK and Qual. I didn't like the ratio. We got a lot of MODOK, which is a very simple arc, and not a lot of Qual, who I thought we could have developed more. So it was kind of the same thing as the second one.
Yeah, I agree. MODOK is my first one, actually. I think
there was a lot of time spent with him.
Didn't need to.
Yeah.
Too much time. And like him and that big chase scene at the end, I was like, oh, I got over that very quickly. My other one was like the Thor movie. Like, I found it really interesting that they seem to not know how to evolve the characters past a certain point. Like, you look at Thor, I mean, they did it really well with like Iron Man and Captain America, but their stories had a definitive end. They had a definitive end as the arc finished.
Yeah.
Great. But when they try and continue certain characters, they're a bit lost, even though they've got like nearly 100 years worth of comics to pull from.
It does feel like they should have doubled down on the family stuff.
Weird, yeah.
More like that's a family.
Yeah.
Explore a family dynamic in this weird
Stop just trying to set up the Young Avengers. Yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And the final one was the stakes. Like, I know you said like you got it, but for me, I was a bit like, what are we looking at here? Like, this is just the quantum realm. Like, who cares?
Nobody.
Exactly. Too much. All right.
Too small.
So our final question is, we don't do 10 out of 10. We don't do 5 ants out of 7 ants. What we do is we say, is this better or worse than the most average movie that we can think of, which has, till now, been Aquaman 2018. DL, is this better or worse than Aquaman 2018?
It is most def better.
Oof.
And furthermore, it's the best Ant-Man movie, or at least the second best.
Or at least the third best.
Because I couldn't remember what happened in the second one at all. So, does he get stuck in the quantum realm again or something?
At the end of the second one, yeah, that's how
it
ends.
Van.
Well,
how are they going to keep going back to this quantum realm?
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Surely he's done now.
Give me 1 second before we end.
Or is there a mega world like realm where everyone's big?
Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, the Celestials, they're all huge.
That's boring.
But he couldn't breathe in space.
That's a boring movie.
All right.
Yeah.
I am going to maybe not controversially say that I thought this was worse than Aquaman. Now, I'm not saying it's bad in any way. Like, I'm just, because this is such a polarizing, like, I'd say it's slightly worse than average compared to what's come before it.
What's better?
Out of what?
In Aquaman.
Good question.
When you put it like that.
When you put it like that, that's a very good question. I don't know, man. If you sit me down, I mean, like, this could be like a time thing, but you sit me down right now and say, would I rather watch Ant-Man or Aquaman? I'd probably say Aquaman.
I would say Ant-Man.
Because it's set in the real world. Like, I get what the stakes are.
I would say Ant-Man. But I take your point on that.
Like,
and it has what's her name, who, while being
Amber
crazy, is quite good looking in that movie.
She does a good job, and
that's
like
that's all you have to say, though.
I like Jason Momoa. It's a charisma off in my eyes. It's Jason Momoa versus.
There's a
Paul
lot of charisma
Rudd.
in both of those.
There's a bunch of charisma,
very different types.
And just right now, like I think if I'd have seen it again with you today, maybe I'd feel differently. But I'm just gonna say worse for now. Spoilers?
Okay, spoilers.
Let's do this.
So
Talk to me.
So what? Anyway, so Kang the Conqueror has been exiled by the Council of Kang. So we find that out.
And Janet knew him from
prior to this little she knew him prior to this trip because she saved his life.
She met him,
finds out about who he was through some telepathic thing, I don't know, and then
she helped him rebuild his ship. So the idea was that he needed to rebuild his engine for ship to leave the quantum
his
realm.
multiversal engine.
And he was setting himself up as this nice guy who could help her out of the quantum realm. And as soon as it was fixed, she got some psychic trip from his ship. Psychic trip from a rocket ship.
Exactly that.
You've got your hat on like you're a rapper. You should have said that. And so she finds out that he's actually a destroyer of worlds.
Which, if we're trying to like talk this out, let's talk this out.
Yeah, please.
Loki season finale.
Yeah.
He Who Remains.
Yep.
Is this Kang?
I don't think it is.
It has to be.
How? Why?
Because he talks about how all the different timelines needed to be purged to create, otherwise something really, really bad was going to happen.
Yep.
Which is literally
what this guy's trying to do.
What He Who Remains did.
Yep.
And I'm assuming He Who Remains when Loki stab. Did he stab?
Sylvie did. Sylvie stabbed him.
When Sylvie, well, she's also a Loki. So.
She is technically. Well, sort of.
Semantics.
Yeah, well, semantics mean stuff, DL.
Stabs. It resets all that to happen again.
So you think he's just going around in circles?
I think he was the one who remained in the past. But because he did not, because he dies, which spoilers, he does, because Ant-Man punches him into something.
Yeah. Well, look, so the idea is that he gets trapped in there by Janet because she effectively gets hold of his rocket ship.
Oh, sorry,
engine.
I skipped that part. I got straight to theories.
You got way over. You went way ahead of it.
Theories.
And basically, she couldn't destroy it, so she just hit one of the pinparticles on it and grew it to this massive size. So it's huge. So you couldn't use it. You couldn't shrink it. It was just kind of there, and they built their like city on it.
Yeah.
And the whole sort of idea is that he needs Ant-Man to shrink it. Is that right?
Yes, but surely like
particles.
Surely he could have just like used the other one of those on his ship and made a bigger ship.
But then he'd be small in a really big ship.
But he could use the Ant-Man particle to get big.
But then he'd be really big.
Just sizes and everything, but in this case it is.
I don't know how that... I don't know how it works. Like,
semantics.
Semantics. So effectively, right,
yes,
he's trapped there for all these years and years and years and years. And
for basically the entire time the mom's trapped there.
Effectively. And then
she was already old.
And then, then Janet leaves and he gets trapped there even longer. And his goal is to get out, right? So he has to use Ant-Man and he tricks him by saying, kill your daughter, blah, blah, blah. And I just think it was a lot of missed opportunity with him. He came across as like a lot of the time being this big, conquering like nightmare of a being.
Adam Driver Award.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Oh, next year, Adam Driver Award for sure. And that's a deep cut for anyone who's heard some of our other shows. I just feel like he was built up to be this amazing thing, and then at the end of the film, he just gets taken out by some like ants. I'm like, what? Like, what is happening? Totally seriously, man. Like, explain that to me.
When you say it, it sounds so bad. Like, who just said?
How is he a Thanos level threat?
All right, so what do we do?
Like, Thanos, guess what, man? There's some ants over here. They're real big and they're real intelligent.
They've accelerated their evolutionary timeline through quantum time.
Nonsense.
Dude, somebody in the writer's room is like, all right, bro, we're stuck.
How do I get out of this, guys?
Pim's gonna get a lost frequency radio call. Get this from an ant.
Get this guy. he's gonna get it over the course of the movie. Get these little cracklings.
Yeah. And then we're gonna flash back to the movie we just watched to show you this because you thought it was his hearing aid because the motherfucker's old.
Because he's so old and his hip's broken. Look, his hip's broken. He fell out of the ship.
Fucking meanwhile, Pym's just like sexy talking ants the whole movie.
It's
That's
so
why he wasn't.
weird.
That's why he wasn't in it. He's just out of the sex
People
line.
think he's senile.
Like,
he's actually really
with
turned
these
on by
mega
the ants.
ants.
He's like,
He's
he's so intelligent.
just like,
oh my god.
Like the Wasp's like, what are you doing over there? Nothing.
What do you mean? I was just cleaning it. It went off.
It's the goo from the hands that I drive with.
Yeah. we're getting completely distracted here. So the short version is right. So
the ants kill Kang the Conqueror.
the ending of the movie is that
Actually,
the
they don't
ants
kill him. They just disable him.
Ant Ex Machina. Yeah, they momentarily defeat him. Now, this is where I'm going to ask you a big question here, right? So what happens is the end of the movie is the ants flood over, like also like the Riders of Rohan. If you want like a visual reference with Gandalf,
Exactly.
like over the hill,
but
ants, yeah. So it's
with
really
purple
weird.
light.
Technological,
purple light, not like
and
the
this
blinding.
this conquering being who can use technology to defeat anyone and anything. We didn't really explain Kang. He is this being from the future who can time travel, and he has all this tech from the future, so he could do pretty much anything.
Yeah.
They just beat him. They just like run over him.
Yeah.
His force field gets beat, and then
well, I mean, I guess by sheer force, there are
force of numbers, yada yada. And then he comes back as they're trying to escape, as the main cast are trying to escape the quantum realm, right?
Yes.
And Ant-Man risks it all to stop him escaping. But
I don't have to win. We both just have to lose.
Yeah.
Good line.
Great line.
Yeah.
Good ending.
I agree.
Trap Ant-Man in the
Leave
quantum
him there.
realm. Kill him. Who cares?
And-
Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Why doesn't someone die in this?
Yeah. Fair point.
Why doesn't Michael Douglas is hit?
I for sure thought that's what they were gonna do.
So interestingly, there was a a different final ending to this, where Ant-Man either dies or gets stuck in the quantum realm. That should have been the ending.
I mean, it's full circle.
Yeah, but
Pym's next. Every
Precisely.
single one of them needs to be stuck in that shit.
well, I wonder if the reason they didn't do that was because that's how the last one ended. He got stuck in the quantum realm. Just kill the guy. Like, you don't need him. You've got two other characters who are that now. You've got the Wasp and you've got his kid. They'll just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
Paul Rudd's
I mean,
just too
maybe they
nice.
just they needed Kane to die as well. I don't know.
Well, Kang didn't die, if you notice.
Yeah, he's
happened,
stuck in a perception realm of his own perceptions.
So what happened
Right?
was Ant-Man got hold of what the now shrunken device, which he uses to power his ship, the engine, whatever it is. It's a sphere, for reference, big as your hand.
Curmudgeon or whatever.
And he hits it with the pin particles to shrink it again, right, rather than expand it this time.
Oh.
And Kang gets hold of it as it's shrinking and effectively gets sucked into it.
Like a black hole.
I don't know what happens. Does he shrink? Does it shrink? Is he stuck in it? He's still alive, though,
I mean,
right?
theoretically.
Yeah.
I mean, as if this is science.
Yeah.
What we saw in the other, when you get into that thing, you see like all the different versions of yourself.
Yeah,
So
we didn't
he's
talk about that.
probably
That's
stuck-
really interesting.
So maybe he becomes more and more insane, stuck in there,
that's fun.
breaks
He's
out,
pretty insane anyway.
and becomes the actual Kane that we think he's dead. And these, the post credit scenes indicates there's other Kanes we have to worry about.
Sure.
But he maybe does become the bad one that we've heard about.
Interesting. And I'll ask you a question then, because like it's an interesting hypothetical question about good and bad, right? So if this Kang we're talking about, was only killing other Kangs, because that's all we know. We only really know is killing other Kangs.
Yes.
Is he the good guy? Because all the other Kangs look like arseholes. They look like bad guys.
Well, he was.
And they all want to destroy the universe.
Well, do they? He was already trying to destroy the.
Well, we only know that he was trying to kill the Kangs.
No, I think theoretically, my theory is, and I'll give shout out to Chuck Hutchinson, in our
great name, by the way,
in our correspondence.
Chuck Hutchinson.
He is the one. So it's not really my theory. I stole it from him. He is the one that becomes He Who Remains, if that was allowed to happen, but because it's not, so meaning he was the good one.
Interesting.
I agree. Meaning he was supposed to be, but because Loki stab intervenes, he's now stuck in this realm where he's stuck with a million versions of himself. So he's probably going to go insane and become kind of like a Thanos type.
Interesting.
Chaos monger.
And I guess the problem with that is, and the whole problem with this is that I didn't really understand the stakes of any of it. So, like, is he alive? Is he stuck? Like, what's happening? And it's...
Well, you don't need to know.
I don't need to
Marvel.
know.
They always,
But I feel like they missed a trick in not having Kang win the day. I think if you let Kang win that, trap him in there, whatever. But, like, he beats and kills Ant-Man.
I agree.
You really set him up as a threat.
I agree. You made him, you get his ass whooped by ants.
Then they had a fist fight, Ant-Man and him, and Ant-Man was pretty much winning.
No, Ant-Man was losing.
He was getting the shit out of him, but he wasn't going to let him go.
He literally quotes, "I lose, you lose."
But he got some good
slugs.
slugs.
But it was he had like 2 good punches, and it was mainly because
and I guess
Kane's cocky, and
I
he
guess
wanted
his
to kill him.
was broken too. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting way off topic. We're getting a bit too weird about this. Honestly, I think at a top level, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it missed it made a lot of big swings. It missed a lot of opportunities, which kind of sucks. So is there anything in spoilers that you want to touch on?
I think that...
How did Cassie open the portal again so quickly? She's a kid who was panicking. So like what happens, in the final fight between Ant-Man and Kang, what happens is it's a portal open for all the main characters to go back home. They just need Kang not to come through it. So you think Scott's gonna sacrifice himself, right? You think that he's making the big sacrifice so Kang can't get through, and what happens is the thing I said with the shrinking, and then Scott just steps right through. But before that happens, the portal shuts.
Yes.
And you think that Kang and Ant-Man are stuck there, and you're like, oh shit, that's a great ending.
Yep.
Like imagine this eternal battle in the quantum realm.
Yep.
Amazing. Or he tortures him, or anything. Or who knows?
Burks him, yeah.
Any of the above. But what happens is Cassie, who, again, effectively still a child, doesn't panic.
Recast.
As you would. Oh, yeah, maybe the recast made the difference. She's way better now. She manages to just quickly press a few buttons and reopen the broken portal.
Well, it's Pym, bro. He's obsessed
No, it's her. She did. No, the ants weren't involved.
Pym was outside, too. Pym's fucking... Dude, any chance he gets to sniff some quantum realm.
Do you think she did that too quick? Was that a bit too much?
I didn't
or am I overthinking
I didn't think
this?
about that at all.
All right, okay. I picked up on that.
Let's
talk about the post-credit scenes.
Yeah, so
there were 2.
We see the
Council of Kangs.
Council of Kangs.
So that is every Kang from every dimension who come together to form,
including an Egyptian Kang
and a robot one, which is a lot of fun. Yeah. Apparently, that is like direct, like shot by shot from the comics.
Interesting.
I just think Jonathan Majors is going to have to remember so many weird accents.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried for him. I was actually thinking that. I was like, that sounds hard.
Like, oh my god, like why are you doing this to yourself, buddy? Yeah. Just have the same accent. Who cares? But yeah, they are. They're all different versions of him. Like the Ramatut one we've talked about on the show before. There's a bunch of different versions of Kang from the comics where he's a timey-wimey guy. He does all this weird shit. What do you think of that? Setting up a bunch of them?
Interesting. I kind of liked the Kang we had before the ants killed him. Because he was just like another Avenger. And I was like, damn.
That's what I mean.
It's like,
missed
damn,
opportunity.
Dude, another Avenger.
That's why I think he'll come back.
You talk to ants. Well, no, wrong guy.
No, the other one.
He
the
doesn't
other one
talk
gets horny off ants. Come on.
But he plays with them.
I think that might be...
He rides them.
God. Stop. There's 2 things there that I say like that. One, I think he's going to come back.
Yes.
But 2, how do you know it's him? They all look exactly the same. They're all the same bloke.
No, they don't. They all look weird.
They've all got different... like, there are variations.
There's a couple.
But for the most part, they're the same dude.
Why was there only one Baskin-Robbins Paul Rudd?
Great question.
Surely there's many versions.
Great questions. We didn't talk about that. Yeah. That's too much I have to talk about right now.
No, but just asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. Second post-credit scene sets up Loki Season 2, which I'm genuinely very excited about.
It was really quick.
It was quick, but
they were like detectives.
But it's with the new Mobius, right? Like it's not the Mobius from last season, so he's still trying to win him over.
I forgot that there was a new. Oh yeah,
at the end of it, because
it like resets.
Exactly. He goes to a different timeline. I think.
In which Kang is in the statue.
He is the statue exactly.
And
so
it's not the timekeeper.
It's so interesting.
We should rewatch that.
I think
I
did.
Actually
I've rewatched it recently.
I've rewatched it recently. Very few Marvel things are worth a rewatch.
That's one.
I would say Thor Ragnarok. I would say the Avengers, Winter most Soldier. Of them, minus. Yeah. Even Ultron has some comedy.
Rewatch, yeah.
Some Captain America, but anything new.
I love all the Captain
Very few new ones.
Everything post Endgame, tough. Although saying that though, I've got to say the final episode of that series, until you get to Jonathan Majors, is not great. It's a bit.
Which one?
The final episode of Loki. So it's a bit like, or maybe it's the episode before that where everything goes like crazy and they're trying to like.
I like that.
Remember, there's the big
like alligator
smoke monster thing.
Yeah.
And they've got to like. They've got to whatever. It's a bit CGI. Anyway,
yeah,
still a very good show. I guess. All right then. So let's do this before we get into True Trivia. Then. So tell me, out of I'm going to say Phase 4 because obviously there's all of Phase 4 and now the first Phase 5 movie. Phase 5. Let's rank them. So you have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. You've got Wakanda Forever. You've got Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm just going to go for the mainstream ones. You've got the Eternals, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and No Way Home. And this.
No Way Home.
Best one. Yep.
List them again.
So Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Thor: Love and Thunder, Wakanda Forever, Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
A lot of the same.
Yeah.
I would probably say either Black Widow or
damn.
Yeah, remember
Shang-Chi?
Florence Pugh?
Children Whooping.
I would say either Black Widow and then Shang-Chi. I kind of like this better.
Oh wow, okay. So this goes after Black Widow.
Guess. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up, but I like this more than I like. Shang-Chi was cool,
okay,
but also kind of non-eventful.
Non-eventful, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then the rest are whatever.
Yeah, Shang-Chi next, actually, then the rest are whatever.
Okay, I'm going to go No Way Home, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Blasphemy.
Then probably Shang-Chi, then this, then Black Widow, Eternals, and Doctor Strange before Eternals. I didn't rate Doctor Strange at all. I think we talked about this. Anyway.
I like Doctor Strange, but...
Would you like, DL,
yeah,
to finish up with some true or false trivia? You know you love true or false trivia.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got a couple this week. So, first and foremost, Hope's shorter hairstyle and dark color in the movie was Evangeline Lilly's own doing. Is that true or is that false?
I don't think any exec was like, let's get a Karen haircut in this. That will increase the appeal of this movie. So, no.
Brilliant.
I mean, so yes, I think it was.
You think it is?
I think it was.
It is, but for a different reason. So she
Yeah.
wanted to pay tribute to the Janet Van Dyne of the comic books, who originally had a pixie hairstyle, which I quite like. That's kind of cute.
Good
I
on
like
her,
that
I guess.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
True or false, DL? Oh yeah, that bit I do about Chris Hemsworth and nepotism. We'll move aside from that. True or false?
Thank you for that.
It's all right.
Thanks for moving on.
So when Cassie shrinks down to her normal size after helping her giant father, Cassie says she's craving limes. Now this is a direct throwback to Captain America and Civil War. Is that true or is that false? She said she was craving lime and citrus.
True.
It is true.
So random.
And yeah, well, apparently in Civil War, when Ant-Man goes giant, when he comes back, he says he's craving oranges and citrus. Nice little tidbit.
Nice, yeah.
Finally, then, true or false, DL? Hope was going in the scene we didn't talk about that we probably should have done, where there are millions of Ant-Men and millions of Hopes.
Yes,
they're seeing all of their different perceptions. Hope in one of them was going to have a son in an early draft of the movie. Is that true or is that false?
True.
It is true, and there were even scenes shot with a child actor in the role. Ultimately, he was removed from the film due to the storyline changing, and there'd been no indication of Hope having kids in her own right in the movie.
Does he still get royalties?
I would hope so, poor kid. But ultimately, like I had a lot of fun with this. Like I'd said it was worse than Aquaman, but like it's semantics at this point. You would say that, yeah. Mainly because last week you called me out and said like everything's better than Aquaman, but this wasn't that much better than Aquaman, if at all. So like I had a lot of fun with it. Let's be frank, it was a half decent movie. It was better than people are giving it shit for, right?
I agree.
DL, do you have any correspondence this week?
I do have a bit of correspondence.
Oh my god!
From Richie Staines.
Dick Staines, he's
back,
baby.
This movie is cheesy. The rise up and fight hologram bullshit was cringe. Cringe. The ants just rolling in was cringe.
The rise up and fight thing was awful. That was straight from Andor.
Yeah, really. Just surely
so bad.
Well, to be fair, this movie was filmed a while ago.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of them were.
Same company though. Maybe people talked. Who talked? They weren't you, baby. Most of what Michael Douglas says.
Oh my god,
was cringe.
He was there for the paycheck, wasn't he? He wasn't in this movie at all.
For sure.
Senile old man. Yeah.
The "you're so huge" hug when they looked normal size was cringe.
Yes, I was going to say that. And also, they're tiny. They're in the quantum realm, so they're small. They're not huge.
Then not having this big bad telekinetic laser hand Kang kill/beat Ant-Man was cringe. He's not wrong.
Yeah, it was all.
He's not wrong.
He's exactly right, and he's picked out lots of bits that we probably didn't actually talk about in that, but like. Yeah, it was cringe as hell. I feel like he needed a lot of these films. I think he just needed like someone to take a second look at the script.
Yeah, he's right. He said, rant over. Been holding that in for 3 weeks.
Thank you for that, Dick Staines. We appreciate that. We have a couple of other bits of correspondence, and you can always get in contact with us. We should have said this before. We are at Podcast Assemble on Instagram or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com. If you're looking and you can't remember either of those, just go to www.podcastassemble.com. There is an option for you to send us your questions, information, memes, whatever you want.
Orange is the new black.
Orange, exactly. I think that's a reference to the web. Yeah, the colors on the web. Yeah, I remember. Friend of the show, Ryan, did exactly that. He sent us a message on Instagram. He actually just directly sent us the new trailer for the upcoming Star Wars game, Jedi. Is it Jedi Survivor? It's the Fallen.
I've got enough.
It's the Fallen Order sequel.
Yeah.
It looks unbelievable.
Yeah, but there's too much already.
There's too many games
already.
He's a friend of the show, Ryan, says he's a huge Star Wars fan and you cannot wait for this. What do we think? You said exactly that.
I want to play it.
I bought the first one. I just haven't had time to play it.
That's what I'm saying. I want to play it, but I won't. There's too many things ahead of it.
I started the first one. I kind of got a little bit bored of it because it didn't it was one of those games where you kind of have to find your own way a little bit, and I'm like, And
you know when games get an 8.5?
Yeah.
Looks like an 8.5.
It's an 8.5.
I really only have time for 9s and 10s.
Not a minute. That's very.
I'm
with you on that.
Ruthless with that shit.
I'm with you on that.
I watch a lot of shitty movies, but I don't play a lot of shitty games.
Because you have to put so much into it. 100%. Well, thank you for that, friend of the show, Ryan. Maybe you could give us your own review of it when you've played it. That would be great. We'd love to see that. We had a message from friend of the show, Chris, who said, have you guys seen the Flash trailer yet? And what we say to that friend of the show, Chris, is go back and listen to the beginning of the episode, because we've already talked about this once. But
I guess we'll humor you.
He does say that the Flash is his favorite character. He's hoping to see proper time travel done right in the movie, and maybe even reverse Flash. Now, one thing we didn't talk about from that trailer is it looks like there are two Barry Allens, right? So there's two versions of Ezra Miller, which, probably not great for the PR team over at DC, let's be honest. But what they do is, one of them looks like he's from the universe where the Flash didn't get his powers and doesn't have powers. So there's a bit where they're touching boots and it looks like they're transferring powers from one to the other. And I wonder if that second one is going to be the eventual bad guy of the piece and become the reverse Flash or whatever, Flash stuff.
I saw that. Their boots changed
color. The boots giving a good old clash. It's like a fist bump, but with your ankles, which makes no sense. I'm with you, friend of the show, Chris. I am super pumped for that. I think it looks great. I'm interested just to see where they take it, because there's so much they could do, and DC don't have a great track record with things that look good but don't end up good.
Very true. I have nothing to say.
Reverse Flash.
I have nothing to say other than accurate.
I rest your honor.
Yes, accurate.
Great. Well, DL, do you want to wrap up the show?
Let's do it, man.
Where can they find us to start with?
You can find us at Podcast Assemble on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com.
Or the website.
Or just this new cool website.
Yeah, we're keep plugging our website.
We're on Web 1.0.
I just want to get people locked in a
We're not on Web 3, we're on Web 1.
My man. I'm on Web 5. What are you talking about?
Passing the pod on.
Please.
Is what you should do. If you like this, you like us ranting about ants, give us a 5-star review.
Ants.
Give us an ant-sized review.
Oh.
I don't really care. Just give us a review. Thank you to friend of the show, Mr. Matthew Bliss of Blissery.fm for editing this episode. If you are a budding podcaster and are thinking of hiring a podcast engineer to edit your podcast, man, go to him. Smart guy.
Go to him.
You know who made money in the gold rush? Not the people making the gold. The people making the shoes.
Making the gold.
Jeans. Matthew Blissery, he's smart. He's the infrastructure behind this operation. And you can email him at info@blissery.fm or visit blissery.fm for more information about Matt and his podcast services. You can also listen to his video game news podcast, The Dead Drop. You better be talking about Resident Evil 4, bro.
Get on it early.
When I get in my Dead Drop, my 10-minute, twice a week download.
My man.
I better be hearing about that. So thank you, Matt. And thank you, Tommy.
Everyone, for listening. We appreciate it. If you've got to this stage, bloody hell.
It's been a while.
Good on you.
So
I'm enjoying this deal.
Good to be back, yeah.
Back in the groove. What's next week? There's so many movies coming out this month. There's Shazam. There's that. There's the Dungeons and Dragons one.
That one I would be interested.
I'm excited to see that. There's a bunch coming out. So there's Creed 3. There's a lot. We've got a lot to choose from. Scream 5. Oh my god, there'll be. We'll choose a thing.
Yeah, we will.